favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion does carry. Thank you, ladies, for being here. Next, you have renewal. Ms. Pulley and Ms. Smith. I'd like a motion to approve the renewals.
So moved.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? Not. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion does carry. You have a resolution. This is a resolution in regards to a water line extension project. It's a $525,000 grant to extend water out in the county with the city of Erin. I'd like a motion to approve this resolution.
Make a motion.
Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
And seconded. Any discussion on this? Yes, sir.
Since the mayor is here from Erin, I'd like to know if the whole water system has the capacity to handle us keep adding lines and lines and lines. It seems like we've added a bunch of lines over the past 4 or 5 years. Does the water plant have the capacity to maintain and to provide enough water for all the lines?
That's a good question, and I think that the city man, Mr. Baggett, spoke with him on this water line extension, and this particular one has been looked over by the city, and I think it meets the requirements and the needs of the city. There have been some in the past, I will admit, that would have been better suited differently, but this particular one I think is good.
So you're not taxing the capacity of the water system?
Of course, George, by putting these water lines out in the county, it does help the city of Erin because water is a revenue source for the city of Erin. But it also helps the county because wherever we put water lines, we see growth. Over the years, it's just makes what.
My concern is I don't want that to happen, but I don't want to tax the existing water plant that the existing people on the lines are going to have low pressure or problems with not getting water because we put too many lines.
I understand. Any other questions? We do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, you have an Amendment 1 grant contract for the highway building and the 911 building. It's a grant for $150,000. I'd like a motion to approve this amendment to this.
Make a motion to approve the grant.
Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
And seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, you have a grant. It's an art contract. It's for $1,200. It's a small grant for a lady to do some work with the youth here in the county. Motion is made to approve this art grant for $1,200. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion on this? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, this is not, and you don't have it in your package, I'm just going to lay it out here. State Highway Safety Grant for Highway 49. They should be starting that this week or next week because this project's supposed to be done by October 31st. And what this is some upgrades, some signage, some guardrail that's going to be on State Highway 49 going east towards Dixon. And I'm going to leave this for any of y'all. Some of you that are really close to your district might want to look at it.
Is our highway department putting this in, or is
No,
it the state?
This is state.
They put on the little flag.
This is those flags are showing where the gas line is probably in the guardrail. So that's one of the gas lines. But this is the grant that we worked through Senator Mark Green and his and give me that.
So what is the county's obligation in
There
terms
is-
of doing something?
There is none for the county. We don't have to do a thing. This is a state project. We had our pre-construction conference last week. I think it was in the Stuart Houston Times, I believe. He attended it, but it should be a little upgrade for that. That road, that's pretty. There's been a lot of accidents on that road over the years, and hopefully this will make it a little safer for the people that live out in that area. Any other questions? But it's there for you to look at after the meeting if you'd like.
This is information only.
It's just for information. There's nothing to vote on, okay? Next, you have your public bonds. Sheriff, you have a copy of your sheriff, your circuit court clerk, your county mayor, register of deeds, highway superintendent, and trustee. I'd like a motion to approve the public officials' bonds. Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
And second. Any discussion on that?
Hey, did I understand when we talked about these the other night, this year the bonds will be up, and then next year they go back
They should,
down?
hopefully they'll go down. They're supposed to. Some of them are on a yearly basis, I believe, Randall, but most of them are for a longer period of time. Okay. Any other discussion? If not, motion is second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. And next you have a report debt obligation on the ultrasound system. If you remember, we borrowed this, and I have to bring this back to you once we've done it. I just need this to be placed on the minute books, that I have brought it back to you. Like a motion to place this on this report on debt obligations.
Was it Randall?
Randall, got a second? Second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Lease agreement, L.A. Barrington, this is lab equipment. This is for Siemens. The people that are on the hospital board realize what we're talking about. This equipment is leased through Siemens, and this is a lease agreement for them to continue to provide the equipment in our lab at the hospital. I'd like a motion to approve this lease agreement.
So moved.
Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Highway Department handbook and personnel policies. There's a couple of changes in that policy. Would you like to tell them what that's?
It's on page 8 and 9 of your handbook, and we revised it, and it used to have total of holiday hours. It stated 105 hours, and it was based on when we worked 8 hours a day, and we had Columbus Day and President's Day was taken off of it some years back because of the 105 hours. So we just deleted on page 8 to 13, we deleted total annual holiday pay of 105 hours. The total amount paid holiday hours is equivalent to previous policy. And we just revised it and added President's Day and Columbus Day back into the policy that we used to get when we worked the 8 hours. That's one of the changes. And the other was the birthday leave. We just changed it to accommodate the 10 hours we worked instead of the 8. The old policy said we were paid 8 hours. That's when we worked 8 hours, 5 days a week.
So how much additional holiday pay will you receive?
Well, it'll be President's Day and Columbus Day.
And that would be how many hours a day?
Well, it would be 10.
10 hours each of those 2 days?
Right. And we used to get those 2 days when we worked 8 hours, 5 days a week. When we worked five days a week, we got these 2 days. When we went to 410s, it was taken out because of the 105-hour clause that was in there.
So
It was
why,
taken
so why are you not going to 8 hours instead of 10 hours?
because we work 410s now.
But it's still 40 hours a week.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. The clause that was in the old policy had 105 hours. So that's why when we went to work in
105 hours worth of vacation, is what you're saying?
of holiday pay.
Right, or holiday, excuse me.
Right. And that was equivalent to us working five days a week, 8 hours. And when we went to 410s, the policy was changed, but the 105 hours was left in there, and the 2 days were taken from us.
So So this is 140 hours now. Is that not right? You got 14 holidays?
It would be if you add the two I'm adding back.
So now it's 140 hours.
And that's, I'm adding President's Day and Columbus Day.
So that's only half an day.
Oh, excuse me, yeah.
Those days we used to get when we worked 5 days. And when the personnel policy was changed back when those two were taken from us, we should have probably took the 105 hours out and just left the days like the courthouse gets off, because everything's shut down. The courthouse, and all of them were closed on Columbus Day, and
The rest of the county only gets 8 hours. How come, you want to be special? I don't
well, I'm not
understand
trying to be special, I'm just saying that's, the 8 hours is because we worked 8 hours a day. Back
Yeah.
then.
Well, so is everybody else in the county, because they just get 8 hours.
Right,
Is that
but we
not right,
work,
Mayor?
Well,
but we work 4 tens now.
the problem that she'd have was, an employee comes in, they're there for 10 hours a day. I mean, if you only give them 8 hours, they got to come in 2 hours, and then they get 8 hours off. And that doesn't make sense, does it? If you're going to give them a day off, then since they work 4 tens, they got to get 4,
Well, why don't you bring them in on a Friday and get have them work those extra 2 hours, and get work out of them
No,
instead
no.
of giving them the 10 hours instead of the 8. That makes everybody else in the county jealous, if you will. that-
I mean, they work 8 hours, I guess, 5 days a week, and we work 4 tens.
Yeah.
We used to get, I mean,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
has this policy, has it been compared to the one we got from the county? They should be consistent.
yes, if you just, that's the only thing that's changed is page 8 and page 9. And it was, all the changes just basically correct from when we used to work 8 hours to now we're working 10.
Change on page 9, is that just the 10 hours of sick leave per month? That was changed?
Page 9 is the sick leave, and where it stayed, in the old one, it said we got 8 hours paid for sick. Now it's changed to 10, for the revised one that you have in your packet.
So if they're sick on Friday, they don't get anything.
We don't work on Fridays.
I know, that's what I'm asking.
They want nothing because they don't work.
Yeah,
It's
George.
just the changes, I mean, where we, like, if we did work, I don't.
George, do you have a question?
I just, page 8 there, Rhonda, said here when the holiday falls on a Sunday, it'd be taken on Monday. Then it says right under it, if it falls on a weekend, then it's on Thursday, so is the weekend, Sunday not included? I mean, are you doing it on Thursday or Monday, on the weekend? I mean, weekend, I thought the weekend was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but maybe I'm wrong.
Typically, if it falls on Sunday, we'll take it on Monday.
Monday.
Because it falls on Friday or Saturday, we'll take it on.
Right. For us, it'd be Friday or Saturday since we don't work.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I'd like a motion to approve the personnel policy changes. Motion is made. Is there a second?
Is it Darrell?
And second.
Is that Darryl?
Who made the motion? Darrell.
And
And who seconded?
Larry?
Larry. Any other discussion? Since we have a little discussion, we'll just do a roll call vote on this one. Roll call vote.
William Macy.
Yeah.
George Jerem.
No,
Randall French.
Yeah.
Steve Hall.
Yes.
Ray Elliott.
Yes.
Martha Greenfield. Darrell Kingsville.
Yes.
Howard Spurgeon.
Yes.
Leslie Lewis.
Yeah.
Chris Sept.
No.
Joey Bright.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Joey.
Yes.
James Pizzell.
Yes.
Brandon Lamassus.
Yes.
Larry Sykes.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Motion passed. Next, you have a inventory at the Highway Department. You have a copy of their inventory package. I'd like a motion to approve the inventory package.
So moved.
Motion is made. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion? Any questions? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, we have Fox Collection Center client contract. This has to do with the ambulance. Let's see, George, you're chairman of that, but this is,
This is signing a company to make collections for our EMS bills that are in arrears. We've never had a collection agency before, and we've been very poor on collecting the ones that are very past due. So this is signing a company that is going to do the collections for us.
that and this number 11, to business associate agreement. Basically it's the same thing. It's with the same company.
Oh, you put 10 and 11.
10 and 11 should go together, okay? I'd like the motion to approve the number 10 and number 11 Fox collection and the business associate agreement. Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
And second. Any more discussion? Yes.
Is this company, the company the other counties use around us for collecting?
I can't tell you. This is the hospital.
Same,
unit.
same,
Yes.
the same company we use for the hospital?
Yes. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, we have an ambulance service fee schedule. George, you want to go over that?
We've been, on all the runs that they do, they charge to the insurance companies for certain amounts and mileage of the vehicle. It's been years and years since they've changed the charge, and we're way behind. So we're just bringing this up to what other area counties are. For instance, I guess y'all don't see the rates, but $950 and $800 depending on what the service is. And this is going to be a huge increase in our revenue for that department, because we're losing money on it now. So this is really going to help, and we're not going above anybody else. We're just more or less being equal to our neighboring counties.
And actually, actually, what George is saying is correct, but even though you bill, you only get 54% of whatever Medicare will pay. Isn't that correct? Something about,
Yeah.
you don't get the 950.
Well,
You
yeah,
have to bill it, but you don't get all of it because
It's the
Medicare.
same health issues
Yeah.
you have with the hospital and paying for
Right.
Medicare.
That's
and so
exactly
forth.
right.
You get a small percentage. In this case, it's 54% of what you bill.
Where it helps you is on your private pay insurance more than it doesn't. Jamie, you had something?
How about the county's been having to kick in?
We've been putting in about 200 something. Over 200,000 on that one. So
County money.
county money.
This should make
This,
us,
hopefully this will,
this should make us above.
we'll see how this works. You know, our projections, these are projections, and we'll see how it works, but it should help us, hopefully. Any other questions on these, on this fee
Just a
schedule?
comment about, since we're on the ambulance service, we've also made some other changes. We've gone so that we can take credit cards now, which we've never done before, and I'm assuming that's in there. I hadn't checked there.
Yeah, it's there.
So we're now accepting credit cards, which we never did before, and we hope we're going to get a better, higher pay rate by doing that also. So anyway.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor
You don't
of
have a
the,
mo- you don't- you don't have a motion?
do I have a motion?
No.
I'd like a motion to approve this schedule change.
I move that we approve the schedule change.
Is there a second?
EMS.
And second. Any discussion, any other discussion? If not, all in favor of the schedule change for the ambulance fees?
Well,
Oppose? Oppose? Motion does carry. Now, if you want to say something, George.
yeah, one thing we should mention, as Randall reminded me, we've got a fellow down there named Steve, and he has increased, has done a bunch of research, and he has managed to get us some grants that we weren't aware of, and we're going to be mandated by law in about 2 years to have to go to a digital system on our ambulances. And Steve found, his name is Steve Bravel, he found a bunch of 2 particular grants that we're eligible for, and he's filled out the paperwork and submitted. One of them is submitted, the other is going to be submitted, I think, next month. But anyway, he's done a really good job on that aspect of it.
Now, they've not been approved, but they have been submitted. Hopefully, they will be approved. Because what they're saying, Medicare is pretty much forcing everybody to go to electronic billing. Any other discussion? I think, well, there's no, y'all already voted, so motion passed. Resolution fixing the tax rate for 2014 and 15. Do you have a copy of that resolution? There's one thing that has come up since we met, and that has to do with the highway department. And the highway department, because we took the 1 cent from the highway department and we put it into the general fund. But in talking with the highway superintendent and Rhonda, they'll lose some funds if we do that. And so I asked them to tell me how that would come about, because I felt like that's what you would ask me. Why are you going to lose funds if we do that? And according to them, and I'll let them talk about it, but their estimate that they gave me was if we take the 1 penny from the highway department, and you have a right to do that. You need to know that. You have that right. They could possibly lose $10,877 in gas tax revenue. So you need to know that ahead of time. Now, if there's any questions, anybody got any questions in regards to this?
What's the mechanism that takes place that is doing this $10,000?
Each year I have to do a 5-year average report and turn it into CTAS.
Reports of what?
The revenue that we get from the county property taxes, and which I have the sample copy. I have to do a 5-year average, and then plus the current year's estimated revenue we're getting. And if we take the 1 cent from the revenue, then when the state gets this 5-year average report, by law, they have to take revenue money once they get our 5-year average. If the money goes down, they'll take dollar for dollar pretty much from the 5-year average plus what we projected to get in this year.
That's just money that the county gives the highway department, or all revenue that you get?
No, it's just county property taxes. That's what the 5-year average is, only from the county property taxes and the local revenue taxes.
So you're telling me that if we raise the amount we give the highway department by, say, 20 cents, we're going to get $200,000 from the state in addition to the 20 cents?
Now, if we was to get more money from the county, next year, more than the 12 or estimated 12, 13,000. They'll base what they give us, the state will, the gas tax money. They'll base it on this 5-year average report, and that's what they base on what they give us. So if you cut it, they'll cut it. If you raise it, they'll raise it.
So
it's by law they have to do it.
Is the formula a percentage or what?
Well, you take the 5 years of the revenue that we get, and you divide it by the 5 years, and you get approximately $13,000 for the 5 years. And then you take what we've appropriated for this year, estimated, and they take the difference from the 5-year average to what I'm projecting. And if there's a difference, they'll take it. If there's more, then they'll add it. But by law, they have to take,
I'm still not clear on how they figure the amount. Is it a percentage, or is it penny for penny, or what?
what they take penny per penny, pretty much from the difference from the 5-year average to what we are appropriating for the next year. And I have a copy if you want to see. This is what goes to the state. I mean, I have a copy if you want to look at it.
We've always had to do a 5-year average. We've been doing it for years. But that, of course, that penny's been in there for years, and it's never made any difference, but.
You got basically penny, because penny generates what,
$11,601.
Yeah, 10A.
So it's basically penny.
So it's kind of like a matching fund.
Yeah.
In essence,
A dollar for dollar pretty much is what.
in essence, by losing 1 cent, it's gonna cost you $20-something thousand.
No, losing the 1 cent is going to approximately $10,877.
I'm talking about that plus what was 1 cent.
Yes, plus
Yeah,
the 1
they're gonna
cent.
lose-
If you take it from the county.
They're gonna lose $11,601, and they're gonna lose $10,877. You
Yes.
put them both together, that's what they.
So conversely, if we give you 20 cents, we're going to get $200,000 from the state in addition to the 20 cents we give you? Is that correct?
If they'll base it on this, I mean, I'd have to, before I sit here and agree and tell you yes, I mean, I know they're going to take it because that's by law, when they get this 5 year, they have to take it. So I'm just going to,
I make a motion, we restore the 1 cent.
Motion is made to restore the 1 cent back to the highway department and take it from the general fund. Is there a second? And second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion does carry. So what that would do, getting back to this resolution, instead of $1.88, you'd have $1.87, and you would add the highway department with 1 cent. It would not change the rate that at the bottom. Okay? Just shuffling of the money into the different things, different departments. Okay? I'd like a motion. Now, the reason why we're doing this, and Mr. Lowry's was here. I guess. Okay, Jim, you usually set up here, Jim. For us to send the tax bills out, we've got to know what the tax rate's going to be. And we're going to recess tonight in regards to this meeting, because we can't pass the actual budget until the 29th. But if we can send these out 2 weeks early, that allows us to start getting our revenue 2 weeks early. And it helps the trustee's office in doing that, and it'll help the county. But once you vote on this, and once he sends this out, it can't be changed. There's no changing. Tonight, you either need to vote for it or you're not. Because it needs to pass by a pretty good majority, because you're asking Jimmy to do something and myself to do something that we're depending on you to take care of on the 29th. And this has all gone through the budget committee. We done been over all of this, I don't know how long. But if we can't pass this by a substantial amount, then we'll have to wait till the 29th, and that's 2 more weeks before we can start sending out tax bills. Okay? Do you understand why we're doing it? We're doing it as a vote to set the tax rate, and that you're going to vote on this on the 29th at this same tax rate. And it'll be for just what we talked about tonight, $1.87, debt service 2, 53 cents, 60 cents, 53 cents for schools, 60 cents schools, 1 penny for the highway, and 16 for solid waste. I'd like a motion to approve this resolution in regards to this tax rate. Motion is made. Is there a second? Second. And second. Roll call vote, gentlemen.
William Macy.
No.
George
George Jerem,
Yes.
Randall French, Steve Hall,
Yes.
Ray Elliott,
Yes.
Martha Greenfield, Gerald Kingsville,
No.
Howard Spurgeon,
Yes.
Leslie Lewis,
Yes.
Chris Sept,
Yes.
Joey Brake, James Fazell,
Yes.
Brent Lamastus,
Yes.
Larry Sykes.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Motion passed. How many? What did it pass?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10. Okay.
10, 3.
10. Motion passed. Next, you have your budget amendments and transfers. The 172, community development, it's a budget amendment. This is for the $150,000 that grant that we've got, making a budget amendment in regards to that. And then the other one is the 101 general, county general, that's the $1,200. I'd like a motion to approve both of these budget amendments. Our
So moved.
motion is made, is there a second?
Second.
And second, any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, you have your quarterly report for your general purpose schools. It looks like schools left off there, but that's what it's for. We passed the other ones at our previous court meeting. Schools, we're just now doing theirs. I'd like a motion to approve the quarterly report for the schools.
So moved.
Motion is made. Is there a second? And second, any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. I'd like a motion to recess till September the 29th, 2014 at 7:30.
I know we've already voted on highway personnel policy. But I'd like to see it revoked to our personnel committee. Make sure we're not getting voted out of schedule. Since we're in recess, that we can come back to
We've already voted on it. We can look at that. You voted, you'd have to you'd have to rescind what you've done, but you can talk, we can do that if you want to. Okay? All right, I'd like a motion to recess to September the 29th at 7:30 p.m. What?
Was it a motion, Mr. French?
Motion is made. Is there a second to do that? Okay, seconded. All in favor?
State the motion.
Let the personnel policy look at the highway department personnel. Motion is made and seconded. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Now I'd like a motion to recess to the 29th at 7:30. Motion is made.
7:30.
At 7:30. And seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. We stand in recess.
Oh, what pain is more painless than I thought.